Hello, everyone. Welcome to C Programming for Beginners, and this is Worksheet 1.1. And today we're going to be learning about the basics of computer programming. So, computer programs can be seen in many ways. And for example, right now I'm actually using a laptop, and there's a significant amount of programming that's needed to actually run this laptop. And there's also tablets and smartphone that also needs software to actually run it as well. So there's a lot of programming, lines and lines of programming that's involved when it comes to using a smartphone, tablet, and laptop. But apart from hardware, there's also a lot of software that actually requires lines of programming to actually work as well. Like this Word document that I'm viewing right now has a lot of code that actually makes it run. And also some of the services that we use as well, like Shopee, Amazon, Netflix uses a lot of programming for it to actually work. Okay, so in computer programming, there are actually three basic instructions. Okay, there's the input, there's process, and there's output. Okay, let's jump into input first. So basically, input is you putting in data into a program. Okay, and the data can come in the form of a file, a keyboard, touchscreen, or a network, or it could be anything else. Like for example, it could be a joystick. Okay, so whenever you're playing, like for example, a car game, and you move the joystick to the left, the car would move to the left, and if you move the joystick to the right, the car would actually move to the right. Okay, and then next we're actually looking at process. So in terms of process, this is actually really important because as soon as you get a data input, you want to do something with the data. So in this example, we're actually doing addition. So basically process is a program that performs computation on that specific data that we receive from the input. Okay, so X and Y are actually inputs, and the plus sign is actually the process. Basically, adding X and Y together is the process. Okay, and next is the output. Okay, right now we already covered the input and the process. We have the data, we process the data, but also we want to view what happened to the data after all the processing. That's where the output comes into play. Okay, so the output can actually form by saving it as a file, by displaying it on a screen, or by actually uploading to a network. Let's say, for example, uploading to the internet. That's also another possibility. Okay. Another important thing when it comes to learning the basics of programming is that in programming we have this thing called variables. Now you might wonder, what is variables? This may seem a bit complicated to understand at first, but it's actually not so complicated. So let's see how it breaks down. Okay, so variable is actually a makeup of two words. Okay, vary and able. Okay, vary means things that can change, and able is the process of doing something. Okay, so if you put it together, that means it's something that constantly changes. Okay, so for example, I have this variable named x, and I can save whatever data I want into the variable x. Okay, it could be a number. So for example, I could save it as 20, could be 30, it could be 60, or it could be 1,000 as well. You could put any number you want into X, okay? And this thing can constantly change. So, for example, like also, quick note, you can also change the name of X as well. Like you can name it, you can name your variable anything. So let's say, for example, I want to know the number of cows that I have. Okay. So for I can name the variable cows, and let's say this year I have 20 cows. Okay. And then next year, maybe I bought a few cows and now I have 40 cows. So as you can see, these numbers can change, and this is called a variable. Basically, numbers that can change, which is saved into cows. That is called variable. Okay. Next, let's see based on the example. So we have an x variable and we have a y variable. Like I mentioned, x can be any number, y can be any number, okay? So let's say I'm actually using this program, okay? And I want my x variable to be 20. So it'll take the number 20 and save it into x, okay? Next, the computer asks me what is y. So for y, I will actually put 10. So it will take the number 10 and save it into variable y. Okay, so that's the input part. We already got our data already. And we actually got our data from a keyboard input. Okay, next, z equals to x plus y. Okay, this is known as a process, and that is because we are actually taking one input, another input, and adding them together. Okay, and z is also another variable. So basically, if you're taking two inputs and doing a process, and let's say you want to save the data somewhere, you actually have to introduce another variable, okay, to actually save whatever that you have at x plus y into z. Okay, so then print z as output. This is basically our output process, okay? Oh, sorry, our output instruction, okay? So basically this will actually be outputted to the screen. So right now I have a screen and it will be output to the screen. So right now we know x is 20 and y is 10 and z would eventually equals to 30 and then print z as output and it will be outputted. I don't think outputted is a word, but basically it'll output the value 30 onto the screen. Okay, so that's basically it. That's basically the building blocks of a program. Okay, and as you may have observed, it's very sequential as well. Okay, so it'll go from this first instruction to the second instruction to the third instruction and end at the fourth instruction. Okay, so that's basically how these things work. Let's say you are already at the third instruction, it will not jump to the first instruction. It will go to the fourth instruction. It will never go up or down or jump. Okay, so all that I've just explained can actually be read over here. Okay, and then I would like you guys to also complete the questions. And once you're done, there's also this extra exercise part where we'll also be learning and strengthening our understanding when it comes to sequential instructions. Okay, so right now we want to make this rabbit actually eat the grapes. Okay, so it has to pass through this maze. Okay, I already started off with this flowchart. By the way, flowcharts are a very common thing that programmers use to basically understand how things work so that they can actually program it. Okay, so right now we have this rabbit wants to go to here. I've done a few already. So there's hop straight, turn left, hop straight, turn right. Okay, so we have hop straight, turn left. So turn left over here, then hop straight, turn right, and we'll turn right over here, and then we'll hop straight again. So we are basically 1/3 done with the maze. We have 2/3 left, okay? So we have to complete this to actually reach our grape, okay? So add as many arrows as you want to actually complete this task, and you can always copy and paste this into the Word document, or you could also do it on a piece of paper if you find it easier. Okay, so thank you so much and hope to see you soon.